Welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody had also a pinktastic weekend along with Explosive because of Oppenheimer. And as you guessed it, of course, we're going to talk about the new movie Barbie, directed by Greta Gerwig and, starring Margot Robbie and Simu Liu, Ryan Gosling. There, again, how we were talking about in our other review about Oppenheimer and how that cast was incredibly stacked. This is another movie where there's so many freaking people in it. I was like, holy shit, you guys are in this too? Like, it's just a miracle of a cast of this last weekend of movies. So it was joyful. This is also a non-spoiler review, so we're not going to get too much in the details as always. Do not forget to give us a like, ring the bell, and of course subscribe just to keep up to date with everything. We appreciate you all, and let's get started on this one. So this one is like, how do I describe it? It's such a simple plot, like for a lot of like children, like almost, it kind of reminded me of almost like Space Jam and almost like Toy Story in a way, but a little bit more adult themed just because it's like PG-13 stuff. Anyways, essentially,
yeah, I would kind of say for me at least, it felt like a live action Lego movie in a way. You know how that movie is just kind of like about the brand and like tackling that stuff. I was just like, this is kind of giving me the same like vibes with that, and I really enjoyed that one too.
That's very fair. That's actually probably more accurate. So essentially like a live action of Legos and stuff. So Barbie is just living her life happily with the other versions of Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken and all the other Kens. They're just living in Barbie land in that best of days. Every day is a perfect day until Barbie starts having some existential thoughts that you wouldn't think a toy should definitely not have like this. And she essentially has to travel to the real world to try and find what's going on essentially with her. And that's basically is all I can say without spoiling it too much. And, like I said, I never grew up with I never played Barbies and stuff like that. I was always the Hot Wheels, all that kind of just those kind of toys and stuff. So, to truth be told, I didn't have any intention in this movie to see it, but Byrne, being the silver-tongued devil that he is, we went to go see it, and honestly, I was quite pleasantly surprised how enjoyable it was, and really how deep it got. You never would have think like a movie. You think with a movie like about a toy like Barbie, like one of the most popular toys of all time, that it's just gonna be a simple, fun movie. It's like it was fun. It had some simplicity to it, but there were a lot of moments where I was like, holy shit, this really just like. My mind is blown by just the thoughts that these people are having. They're simple questions and stuff. So I will definitely give it its props. I think this is my first. What other movies has Greta Gerwig done, Byrne? Do you mind filling me in on that? Because I haven't really looked into that too much.
Yeah, I mean, I know she directed like a movie like a while back where co-directed it, but in terms of like her solo directing career, she did Lady Bird, Little Women, and then now Barbie.
Okay, yeah, those movies actually did really well. I never got around to seeing them, so okay, that's good. And she did just get tapped to direct new Narnia, like Chronicles of Narnia movies for Netflix. So I'm kind of excited by that. Hopefully, they're good. Just because it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna talk about that right now. Anyways, like I said, it stars Margot Robbie, Ryan Gosling, Emma Mackey's in it. Simu Liu, he was hilarious in this as well. Michael Cera, Kate McKinnon, Dua Lipa's in it. America Ferrera. Again, such a great cast of gorgeous people, awesome people. It's like, damn, this really is a Barbie movie in a way. Just almost like physical perfection. But yeah, and like I said, I still can't get over how much it just really like put everything into perspective. It's definitely I wouldn't say it's a feminist, like more from ladies and stuff. It's actually for everybody because the cast, the audience that we were in, Burned, I would say it was pretty diversified. There were couples, families, groups of dudes hanging out, friends and stuff. You and me, so there we go. But what did you think about this movie, Byrne?
I mean, I really it did enjoy this movie. In terms of like the whole Barbie thing, like I grew up with a sister, so I was roped into playing with Barbies as a young kid. But, so I wasn't like, oh, Barbie's like a thing like I need to watch or anything like that. But in terms of like adaptations of toys and figures, we've gotten in them in the past. Just recently we got a Transformers movie this year. We've gotten GI Joe movies before, and this one takes a very different approach. Like you mentioned, it gets very deep and existential, and it even satirical and stuff. I'm very surprised of the things they were able to get away with in this movie in terms of making fun of the brand and the Mattel who's in charge of the brand. So that was really nice to see. And man, Greta Gerwig just continues to knock it out of the park. I think she's one of the very interesting newcomer directors. I would throw her in the same group as someone like Jordan Peele, Ari Aster, auteurs that take on these movies and they really inject them with their own personality. And this movie, even though it's her first blockbuster, you very much see the DNA of a Greta Gerwig movie in these for people who are familiar with her previous work like Little Women and Lady Bird. But yeah, I mean, Margot Robbie, this just feels like the role she was born to play. If you can think of any actor to play Barbie, she's perfect, for the role, and she does a really good job with it. And I think she does have a lot of really fun material to work with, and she's been taking a lot of really interesting roles lately. And this one is one of those where she gets to show off her more of her comedic chops, which is a lot of fun. And Ryan Gosling, what more can be said about Ryan Gosling? He's great. I always like this. I like this version of Ryan Gosling that has a lot of fun, with a Crazy Stupid Love and The Nice Guys. He does really good with the dramatic roles, but it's so great when he gets to play into the comedy, and he has a lot of the biggest laughs in this movie for sure. So yeah, the cast is great. Greta Gerwig, of course, her writing and direction in this movie is great. But I really want to shout out the production designer in this movie, Sarah Greenwood. The way that they brought Barbie Land to life was really fun and really well done. And I think she deserves a lot of credit because the visuals of this movie were really, really good. And also Rodrigo Prieto's direction, cinematography. It all made the visuals really nice. You were actually in a toy world with live action people in it. So it was a lot of fun, and like you said, it gets into really deep stuff surprisingly, and the fact that it's able to do that within the framework of a toy movie, it's really kind of cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially the production aspect of it, because there are definitely some moments I'm like, holy shit, it does really feel like you're in an actual Barbie toy set and stuff like that. And I do, and thank you for reminding me, Bern. I kind of forgot you did have you grew up with his sister. I didn't know she was into stuff like that, but it is what it is. So I get you on that one. Yeah, like I said, Margot Robbie, she slayed it. She fucking did a great job in it. And I'm glad that she's still getting stuff. There was a little bit of, I feel like she's been kind of off and on with certain stuff, or she kind of in between DC and stuff, she was kind of had some hit and misses. What actor doesn't? But I think this is definitely one of her strongest acting roles. I think she did a great job. And even Ryan Gosling, as much fun as he had with it, he had him being funny, and even then he had some good some intense moments too, emotional moments. It's damn impressive stuff. And Simu Liu is the other standout for me because he was just so funny. Him and Ryan Gosling were able to just really bounce off each other really well. So I thought that was great. And yeah, I can't speak to it enough. This one I will definitely give a 4 out of 5. I definitely recommend it for a good amount of people who just, if you want to have some good laughs, kind of just, it's one of those movies too. Yeah, it has some really deep, emotional stuff to it, but it's still just a fun movie to watch. You can kind of just turn your brain off and just take it in for what it is. And you made a good point too, Bern, about how I always forget Transformers and GI Joe or they were also related to the Hasbro stuff, toy stuff, and I never really thought about it, but this is definitely, I think, probably one of the better adapted ones. If you're going to bring a toy to life, this is how you would do it. So I agree with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think just Greta Gerwig knocked it out of the park, and I exceeded a lot of my expectations because coming in, it's what are you going to get? Are we going to get something more along the lines of Michael Bay's Transformers movies, where it's just kind of like a weird mess, or we're going to get something a little bit more on the lines of Lego Movie, where you get the fun aspects of it, but then you also get some other deeper conversations going on, and that's what we got here. It's a lot of fun. The script is very funny, but they also it's not afraid to touch on topics of like feminism and patriarchy and stuff, but presented in a way that I think it doesn't alienate guys too. I mean, we watched it, we had a really good time with it, and some of the messages were really well received, and I'm sure there will be a certain group of the internet that will not like it, but I
was gonna say there are a couple of jokes that hit me, like I was like, oh man, that's almost like a jab at me, but I was like, you know what, I'll take that too, because it's like
I'll take the punches.
Yeah, they're fair. They were fair to say, but I was like, damn, is that how it feels? Like that hurts a little bit. I don't want to say what the jokes are, just because I'm sure if you're like me, you'll get them and you'll be like, oh, like damn.
Like, damn, okay, but I'll take it. So yeah, it's really a lot of fun. I would say a couple of negative aspects of it. There is like a mother-daughter story here that I feel needed a little bit more elaboration. Didn't really go too far with it. There are certain things where it's like it does feel like it's juggling a lot, and I feel like if they could have cut down certain things or maybe expanded on other things, it would have been a little bit better. But overall, I think I really enjoyed it for the most part. It's just there's a certain aspect of it that it's just like, oh man, like you have it there, but it feels like it could have used a little bit more time. But other than that, I had a great time with this movie. Definitely really fun double feature, of watching this and Oppenheimer. I definitely recommend watching Oppenheimer first and then watching this one after.
Barbenheimer weekend.
Yes, exactly. So, man, two really great movies, and this one I had a lot of fun with too. And for this one, I will also give it a 4 out of 5. I can definitely see this one having a big presence in the awards season also, especially with the production design, the script and Greta Gerwig's direction stuff. Maybe even a nomination for Ryan Gosling. Comedy roles hardly get nominated, but he had a lot of fun with a role in this one, so that would be cool to see. But yeah. A really fun time at the movies this weekend, and you can't go wrong with watching either of them, I think.
That's why I said this last weekend, I think it was the strongest movie weekend. Like, both theaters were packed, and these were in like the middle of the day, kind of near the tail end of it, on a beautiful summer weekend too. Like, the weather wasn't super hot, it was a good beach day, but the theater was packed, the mall was packed because of it, a lot of pink rolling around, and that's pretty much all I can say. So I think it was a great weekend at the movies for that. But let us know, guys. What did you all think of it in the comments? Did you like it? Were you not comfortable enough to go by yourself? You have to have a lady friend. Either way, we're all here for that consolement and stuff like that. Or did some of the jokes hurt you as well? Like with some of them, like felt jabs. I'd love to know as well, just so I don't feel alone in that. But other than that, we stay tuned for other reviews coming out, everyone. And as always, stay bodacious and keep on ranting for the both of us.
Absolutely, everybody. Be good, be safe, and studio executives, if we don't pay your creatives, Ken will beat you off.
That doesn't sound right. They're gonna have beach offs with all the studio heads, and honestly, they probably should. Yeah. I swear to God, they gotta get the strike going, because I hate to say it, it's gonna get to a point after this year and probably part of next year. If the strike is still going on, we will have no content. There will be nothing left. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty reckless on the studio heads' part. So just for y'all know out there, make sure the writers and even the actors definitely need their just rewards. Mostly the writers though. That's all I'm saying. But
yeah, all the people, like, it takes a village to make these movies.
Exactly.
But yeah, that being said, everybody, and hopefully better times ahead. But we'll catch y'all on the next one.